What's up and happy holidays, Variant Nation. DC fans here in the US have their early Christmas present arriving in theaters this weekend with a wide release of Aquaman's first solo live-action film. So today, in honor of the King of the Seven Seas, we're looking at many of the alternate versions of Aquaman that have appeared in comics over the years. Well, let's get into it. Alright, as always, we're going to start with the main version of the character, which in the DC universe, of course, comes from Earth Zero. Known as Arthur Curry, Aquaman first appeared in More Fun Comics issue 73 in November of 1941, and was created by writer Mort Weisinger and artist Paul Norris. His original origin story, which we get in his debut issue, was his father and his mother were both human, but after Arthur's mom died when he was just a baby, his father turned to his work as an undersea explorer to hide from his loss. After a while, his father discovered an ancient city deep in the ocean that he believed to be the lost city of Atlantis. So he created a watertight home in one of the palaces and began to live there with Arthur, studying everything he could about the ancient civilization and teaching those secrets to his son. Over time, Arthur learned how to draw oxygen from water and stay underwater for an extended period of time, and he even learned how to communicate with some sea life. However, unlike future versions of the character who communicate with sea life telepathically, the original version of Aquaman did so by speaking their language. In fact, the original version of Aquaman had basically no real superpowers at all, just some cool learned skills that he could use to his advantage in certain situations. But as we all know, it didn't stay that way. Because like nearly all comic book characters who have been around for a while, the main Earth Zero Aquaman has seen a number of alterations to his origin over the years. And his most recent and arguably his most popular revision came in the New 52, when Geoff Johns took over the Aquaman book. This version of Earth Zero Aquaman cemented the character's Silver Age origins as the half-human, half-Atlantean son of Tom Curry and Atlana, and follows his journey as a man torn between two worlds who refuses to accept his role as the Atlantean king. That is until his half-brother Ocean Master waged war on the surface world and he was forced to stop him, ultimately taking back the throne and his rightful place as the warrior king of Atlantis, defender of the seven seas. The main version of Aquaman is also one of the 7 founding members of the original Justice League of America team, as well as the New 52 version of the Justice League. And as for his powers, he now has plenty, including superhuman strength, the ability to breathe underwater, nearly impenetrable skin, and he wields the Trident of Neptune, which grants him full control of the seven seas. Oh, and that talking to the fish thing, it's actually a telepathic ability to summon and control all sea life, putting everything from whales to legions of sharks and even sea monsters like the freaking Kraken at his disposal. Not too shabby. Okay, that sums up the prime Earth Zero version of Aquaman that all the others are based on. So let's take a look at some of the alternate versions, shall we? We'll start with one of my favorites, which is a villainous counterpart to Aquaman from Earth 3, known as Sea King. The Sea King was created by Geoff Johns and Ivan Reis, and first appeared in Justice League 23 as the first member of the crime syndicate. He has largely the same power set as Aquaman, but his left hand has been replaced by a powerful harpoon/blade hybrid. It's ridiculously cool. Sea King has also made appearances in the Justice League Dark and Constantine titles, as well as a couple others. But next up is Aquawoman from Earth 2. This version, known as Queen Morella of Atlantis, first appeared in 2013's Earth 2 issue 18, The Dark Age Part 2, and was created by Tom Taylor and Nicholas Scott. Morella is a powerful leader of the Atlanteans, and in the comics, she actually dislikes the name Aquawoman, which is kind of funny. She also has similar powers to Aquaman, with one big difference. She has hydrokinesis powers similar to that of Mera, which is super interesting and makes her a serious force to be reckoned with. Next, we have Earth 22 Arthur Curry Aquaman, also known as Kingdom Come Aquaman. This version of the hero, of course, appears in Mark Waid's classic miniseries Kingdom Come, and is much older and heavily burdened with his role as King of Atlantis and the Seven Seas. So much so that he rejected a request from Superman and Wonder Woman to create an underwater refuge for metahumans at war with the surface world, because he couldn't risk them spreading the surface war to the underwater world. Like most characters in the Kingdom Come series, this Aquaman is an interesting and compelling version. But moving on again, we have Earth 6 Aquaman named Raymond. This very different version of Aquaman was created by Stan Lee and Scott McDaniel as part of DC's Just Imagine series. Raymond was a marine biologist who gained the ability to transform himself into a living water form, at will, after he injected himself with the DNA of a bottlenose dolphin, and accidentally swam through a strange green cloud in the open sea. I know that sounds funny, but it's also so very Stan Lee that you gotta love it. In addition to being able to transform into sentient water, this version of Aquaman has super speed, the ability to manipulate water, can sense danger, and is highly intelligent. Next in line is a version from the Amalgam comic series known as Mariner. This alternate Aquaman is a hybrid mix of Marvel's Namor the Submariner and Aquaman, and he first appeared in JLX issue 1, A League of Their Own. He is the former king of Atlantis who had been banished by his people for a crime he didn't commit, and is a member of the amalgam version of the Justice League called the JLX. As a hybrid character, he has a mix of powers from each of the two characters he embodies, including a kind of berserker rage, which is really cool. Anyway, you know I love me some amalgam characters, so this version is pretty great. Moving on yet again, we have Aquaman 1,000,000. This distant future version of the Aqua guy made his debut in JLA issue 23, when he and other members of the Justice Legion A traveled to the past from the 853rd century. He is the protector of the water planet Neptune, and like all members of the Justice Legion A, Aquaman 1,000,000 is insanely powerful. He has most, if not all, of the main Aquaman's powers and abilities, just highly increased levels of them. But he also wields several different powers and weapons, most notably being his power of flight. Yes, this Aquaman can fly. It's pretty dope. Up next, we have a pretty funny version of Aquaman, who exists on Earth C-, and that is Aqueduct, the amphibious avenger of the seven seas. This, of course, is a parody version of Aquaman, and he first appeared in Captain Carrot and his Amazing Zoo Crew issue 1. No, I am not kidding, that is a real comic book. He has a similar power set to the normal Aquaman, except he's a duck, which is awesome. I do not even care. But let's move on to Emperor Aquaman from the Flashpoint timeline. This intense version of the character who embraces his given Atlantean name Orin first appeared in Flashpoint Volume 2, Issue 1 as a ruthless Atlantean king who was taken from his human father at a young age, and so never learned compassion or a fair-minded view of both worlds. He's a beast of a warrior with all of Aquaman's powers and abilities, but completely lacking his empathy or hero's mentality. This leads him to fight alongside his brother Orm in a war against Wonder Woman and the Amazons. At one point, he causes all of Western Europe to sink into the ocean, killing all of its inhabitants. So yeah, I wasn't kidding about the Ruthless part. Next is Earth 10 Aquaman, known as Underwater Man. This alternate version is a member of the evil Nazi version of the Justice League called the New Reichsmen, and first appeared in the Final Crisis event. On Earth 10, the Atlanteans originally fought against the Nazis during World War II, before eventually joining them, which seems like quite a leap to make. Either way, this version of Aquaman is shown to have a smaller power set than the main Aquaman, but he still has the ability to function in water or on land, and is a strong and experienced fighter. Moving on yet again, we have Earth 21 Aquaman from Darwin Cook's The New Frontier series. This version of Arthur Curry / Aquaman is actually largely similar to Earth 0 Aquaman, as a half-human / half-Atlantean king of Atlantis. In the story, he's a member of the JLA and does battle against the primordial entity known as the Center. We of course also got to see this Aquaman in DC's animated movie, The New Frontier. Up next is Aqualord from the Elseworld story JLA Destiny, written by John Acuti. Aqualord is a member of the deadly terrorist group run by a mysterious villain known as Korriga Ejum, and fights against the Justice League of Gotham. He actually resembles the 90s version of Aquaman, which isn't a compliment. Anyway, his power set is that of a slightly weaker but more arrogant Aquaman. But what he lacks in power, he makes up in fighting skill and ruthlessness. Next is a recent addition to Aquaman Alternates and yet another villainous version, and that is the Drowned from Earth 11. This Batwoman turned evil Aquawoman was created by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo for the Dark Knight's Metal series back in 2017. We actually did an entire origin episode on her when she made her first appearance, which you could find right here, so I won't get into detail on her. But she's essentially a deadly combination of Batman and Aquaman in one. Kinda scary, but oh so awesome. And the last alternate version on our list is Regime Aquaman from Injustice Gods Among Us video games and comic book title. This is yet again another version of Aquaman that has turned from being a hero and joined Superman's tyrannical regime, combining the might of Atlantis with Superman's surface power. That's an overwhelmingly powerful partnership. Leave it to Batman to look at that and say, we can take him. Anyway, Injustice Aquaman has the same power set as Earth 0 Aquaman, but his personality traits are more harsh and callous, which of course leads to brutal behavior and bad decisions. It definitely makes for a compelling version of the character though, which obviously is all that matters to us readers in the end. Now there are a few more alternate versions of Aquaman like the Justice Titans member Aquaflash from Earth 32, but these are the best and the ones we like the most. We also didn't add characters like Aqualad, which is a fan favorite character, but he's not technically Aquaman, he's just his partner. Either way, let us know what your favorite alternate version or versions of Aquaman are in the comment section below. First up for Wednesday, December 19th, we have Harley Quinn issue 56. It's Harley Quinn, Crazy Cat Lady. Seems one of Harley's tenants used to be a small-time cat-themed crook, but now is just a lonely retiree hoarding felines in his apartment. Now we have Captain America issue 6. Winter in America concludes with a shocking turn of events that will send the Star-Spangled Avenger's life into a sudden dramatic tailspin you won't see coming. Here we have the Defenders issue 1. This is the finale to the Best Defense storyline. If you like the OG Defenders, you need to check this out. Here we have Damaged issue 12. Will Damage earn his spot as the world's strongest hero, or will he be branded as a villain forever? It's Damage versus the Justice League, and it'll take more than brute strength to win the day. And finally, we have Aquaman issue 43. Of course, with the Aquaman movie hitting theaters, we had to get an all-new Aquaman that parallels the movie better. And I gotta say, he looks awesome. And that's gonna bring another episode of Variant to a close, but remember to check out our website, variantcomics.com, to keep up with the show and all things comic related. You can also follow us on social media like our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links for all of that is in the description as always, but I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.